Welcome back, everyone, to Game 3 of Liquid versus eUnited, and TL will again be going on to the blue side as they have favored Lulu first pick, and it has favored them the second game now.
Yeah, I think the Lulu has been great for them. Saving Rain over that game was fantastic, but also if you're able to pinch that mid pool enough with the Vladimir and Victor bans that they had, maybe that's going to be another LeBlanc if you take Orianna. We'll see if that puts pressure onto the challenger team of eUnited. But yeah, Rainover, a completely different game for him that time. The first game, not really that great. He had a bit of a CS advantage, but I don't think CS is really going to tell you the whole story here. Right. Rainover was playing Graves in game 1, but the counter ganks that he had were good. But in the second game, it was just way more action that he was a part of, that he actually had really kind of snowballing. Because the first game, it was 1-0-1.
He was playing repair to the lanes.
Exactly. He was 0-0-0 and his lanes are dying. At 20 minutes, I believe he's 1-0-1 in game 1. And then game 2, he's 7-1-6 at 20 minutes. Completely different. Absolutely.
50% KP to 93% kill participation. I'd say that's a little bit more active around the map. Plus, you're relieving pressure on your lanes. You're calling Gilius to more places than he is creating advantages. And that's really what helped catapult their early game this time around.
So Gilius didn't kind of have the same early game he wanted. First game, Gilius was definitely a dominant force. In game 2, it was kind of the backwards part where he was really, I looked over and he's like 2 kills, 5 deaths. So it really seemed to be something where he was trying to get involved, but he was a lot of his team's deaths early. And their bot lane was doing well. He was not.
A slight question answered there, at least in one game. They fought back with defense quite well, but we did not see eUnited having an instance where they could pull themselves into a fight. They were always playing audible defense if a rotation happened top, and then you just see Lorlo and the team ready to engage, or it'd be to the other side of the map. So eUnited from the front can do very well once they're in that lead. If TL can get them on the back foot, though, I feel like the game is very tough for them at this point behind the calls of Gilius.
Yeah, I'm looking at the draft because the last draft was much better for TL. They adapted between games 1 and 2. They banned out the Rumble instead of the Soraka. The Soraka wasn't even in sight. It was another Zyra pickup for Zeyzal. So it ended up being a good adaptation, and they forced Gilius, or I guess he decided it was time to play something else. It was time to play the LeBlanc with Gunblade. It didn't work out. So I definitely give huge props to TL and their new coach of Kane to help them with those picks bans and the adaptation they made.
Right, definitely on your screen. Jhin first game, Ashe that second game. Jhin definitely picking up a lot of the kills and facilitating the curtain call with the equalizer. Not as much synergy with the Ashe pick and the rest of the map this time in the Nautilus. It seemed like a few of the arrows missing. It had to cause Deathly to get into the fight, and Team Liquid, once they were able to get onto him, kind of shut down that back line.
Yeah, and he doesn't do as much with early game gold advantages either. When you're playing the Ashe, you kind of get the Blade of the Ruined King. All right, you don't have crit to really enhance your damage that much more with the normal Ashe build, but this is one that takes 3 items to really turn online. It's harder to kill you. You're kind of deceptively tanky because the Black Cleaver has more HP on it, and then the Blade of the Ruined King gives you a lot of extra healing. So far, same bans as we get into game 3 here. You would expect Camille for eUnited to be the ban.
And Rengar?
Possibly.
Possibly a Rengar. We'll see what happens with Liquid here. Rumble gets banned out. That fight creation, the ability to start their fight on their own terms, it's kind of what they got out of the Ashe, but now without the Rumble, as they used that in the first game to start their fights. They lose it again here. See if they go back to something else that kind of gives them that unconditional engage, if it is the Ashe again. Rengar gets banned out. Lulu has been that first pick for Liquid. I don't really see any other reason to go for something different when you can provide that for double lift.
Yep, Lulu, Ashe again, and then Graves again? I don't know if you go Graves again here. Yeah, Ashe Zyra would be great. Get yourself that early lane. Make sure that you have to have punish for the enemy. This is the same lane that they ran last time, but it means that the jungler is not something that you may even have to pick in this first round, depending if Rainover takes his here.
You're going to have 2 up that you want to play almost, right? You always have the Lee Sin on the other side. Even going into second ban phase, probably won't see too many towards them. Maybe you will. Lee Sin, all right, Lucian
Yeah.
Almost sounds the same. Picked up by Rainover for the double lift.
Maybe go Kha'Zix here, or maybe Graves for TL. Could be either or. I think both are fine in this situation, depending on what Rainover really wants to play. Graves, sounds good to me. Was the change up there?
Liking that early game damage.
It's a lot of early game damage there from the Graves. Also, the Lulu in combination with the Graves, you get extra movement speed to continue your fighting, which is so good during the early game. And yeah, I thought Gilius might go for something else here aside from the Graves. I feel like the CC would be quite good. And they have now the makings of a pick composition, and now they have a magic damage dealing jungler, and they have a magic damage dealing support. So you could go for an AD mid laner, Jace on the table as something that could be picked up. Because you think back to the last game,
That's that
I don't
swap.
think exactly. I don't think you could play Jace in that last composition. They had to pick the LeBlanc. They had Ashe, Graves, Zyra, and Nautilus. There's some magic damage that you see like at the bottom. But if you change that LeBlanc out for a Jace, that's really heavy on the physical damage against a Gragas.
Second ban phase. Well, the mid laners do get hit pretty hard here as the junglers pick themselves. Cassiopeia, and looking for the last
Ahri?
ban now here. Ahri, maybe Syndra.
Vladimir?
We can only see Syndra between these two anyways.
Yeah, it's like Ahri, Vladimir.
Yeah, Vladimir would be there. Renekton for the top lane, a safe top laner to get out. Rumble and Renekton both banned out. As definitely looks down the line. Vlad, you feel good on Vlad? Or
Yeah, I actually think you do,
see what
because
got?
you just banned out the two Vladimir counters. You banned out Orianna and Cassiopeia. Yeah, I say you go for it.
Oh, mistake. I didn't mean to do that. Gets the Vlad.
I mean, we've had a Rammus be locked in before via Piglet. So sometimes, you know, you lock in the wrong thing. Gotta play through, but
The Nautilus still left up through all of this. Interestingly enough, with the Renekton getting the ban, Nautilus stays alive. Lorlo has had quite a few games on that this year. I should say split. So he knows how to play it to great effect. Will it be the Ahri locked in once again for Piglet? Still, towards that late game, we saw the 60-minute game. He was doing quite a bit of damage scaling up.
yeah, I like
Final pick here.
I like leaving the Ahri up.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So it's going to be a Kennen top lane for Licorice here.
Seen a bit of that AD Kennen as well. Frozen Mallet.
Well, also the buffs to the Blade of the Ruined King help the AD Kennen build. A lot of people will go for something like Wit's End into just more auto attacks, Rune's Hurricane, Blade of the Ruined King, but the Blade of the Ruined King buffs help a lot.
Look at that. Oh, Lorlo had Ahri. This is going to be a great game. No, as they swap around, obviously getting themselves into position here. Looks like it's actually going to be pretty even in summoners. No teleports going to the mid laners this time. Matt still running that Ignite to Zazel's Exhaust. Always making sure they have that Exhaust in the game as they get into lane.
Yeah, the exhaust for the Ahri is going to be great here. I do like the double Ignites so that they can make sure they have something for the Vladimir in majority of these fights. But I think that the pick ban, definitely a little bit better here for eUnited than it was last game. They now have the Ashe Zyra lane again, but they now have the Vladimir instead of the LeBlanc. The bans changing up. Previously, they had banned the Ahri Renekton as their second round. They banned the Orianna Cassio, and then they first pick on the second round the Vladimir, which I think is very wise to do, because if you don't, then you probably pick Renekton there. Because that would be the ban that Team Liquid would have to spend.
We are getting into game 3. We've evened it up. We're now in a best of 3, if you will. TL win, hashtag TL win, hashtag EUN win. As you head over to Twitter and participate on social media, we're getting into this one, and we're about to be on the Rift. Team Liquid taking on eUnited here in the promotion tournament, and Team Liquid working off momentum of game 2 to try and carry another win into game 3 here. eUnited coming out with a very different comp than they've run on any of these series or games so far. We'll see what they can do now.
Yep, and you can see Cull for Licorice is his starting item. Checking his runes, no ability power in it. He does have attack speed, so he's sitting at 0.9 attack speed at level 1, and has magic resistance as well. So he's prepared for the matchup, but it isn't going to be bully. He's looking for early CS leads. He's looking to push Licorice out of lane via auto attack. So get bush control, stay to the top side, and constantly auto attack. This is actually a strange composition too, because it's magic damage in 2 to 3 lanes.
Yeah.
Depending, and then definitely is kind of the majority of the physical damage here, where Licorice will bring a little bit himself too.
I like the way it plays against TL's comp. Having a lot of AoE, Piglet really has to decide, where's my dive in? I get a Stranglethorn, I get a Slicing Maelstrom, there's AoE from Fox, right? So as he dives in, he has to deal with a lot of AoE circles.
Yeah, and it's not even going to be like a huge amount of damage from Licorice.
Right.
Oh, whew. Swapped it up there. It's not even going to be like a huge amount of damage from Licorice with the ultimate. The ultimate's mostly to lock up.
Stun bot for days.
But that's going to help so much. You think back to the old school AP Kennen and Vladimir combos where Vladimir would Hemoplague into the Kennen getting the ultimate down, just would obliterate team fights. Now, this is kind of similar, not the same burst, but you still have a consistent damage source with the AD Kennen top lane, which I'm looking forward to seeing because eUnited, they can play team fights all right, but I think this is a little bit more in terms of pick-centric composition. Whereas TL, kind of front-to-back team fight, kind of standard team fighting for themselves. Can pick, but they also have the Lulu so they can stop a pick from happening as well. And that's where my eyes are. My eyes are this bottom lane again, because this has been Matt dead twice in the early game. And that's chucked out again. That is...
The first wave, that is always what happens. Every time they go in, potions get chugged down. They're still good for double lift on his, but Matt has already had to use a few. Second wave will come through. Zazel may not have enough mana to do that. As he hovers the top side, his actually passive seed placement isn't as good as it was last game, so the Qs aren't doing as much damage. It's the little things.
Yeah. Also could make sure that he gets some plants down if there's a jungler that comes through.
Yeah.
Speaking of jungler that comes through, though, Reignover, we saw the reset. Slow him down a little bit, but he won't be too much worse for wear. Graves pretty much doesn't use his potions in the jungle anyway.
Right.
So the fact he used one of his refillable potion stacks,
Preposterous.
so behind. But I mean, if he dies at some point and maybe 100 and some odd health would have helped him, then possibility 125 could have been the magic number, Rid. Speaking of 125 HP, that's how much Gilius had there. He does have Smite though, so he'll be able to pick that up with Swamp. Pretty much everything is going how you would expect in this game 3 so far in terms of the laning. Top lane is getting shoved in. Piglet actually a little bit behind here, but then Double Lift still beating deftly, even though Matt got shoved out of lane and had to blow all of his potions already. There's just a huge potion deficit in the TL bot lane, but Double Lift just seems to be a superior wave manipulator and pusher of the creeps and like actually CSing compared to deftly.
Zazel still actually pretty good on potions. Blows that mana bar, drinks one, lets it build up, and he's just going through every reel trying to get the most out of those potions that he can, not just casting a spell and eating one to keep the mana topped off.
Oh, here comes Reignover.
Not enough defense right now by the bot lane, and this is the first time we've seen Reignover first to the bot lane as well. Definitely goes down. First blood over to Matt again.
Yeah, and this is... Matt got it this time. 100% KP in the first bloods for himself. But I will say that was just a route that you should expect. Graves gets the loop around again. He avoids the wards, but he would have avoided them anyway. They don't have proper warding mid on the bottom side of mid, and they don't have warding in the river at all. You can see it was just Tribrush and also bottom bush ward. So I was able to sneak by that vision.
And that's live and learn, right? Consistency of what eUnited has done every game. They push us up, they play aggressive, they're gonna keep volleying. The mana's low, usually for Zazel. Come and gank now. Third game, works out perfectly for TL. And now it is again in the hands of Reignover. He can continue to create pressure. Gilius may have to continue to answer that. Reignover clear the bot side. He'll be hovering mid and top as he goes back.
Yeah, gonna lose out on a lot of CS on the bottom side for Deftly. One's the one who died, so. Still in a bad spot every single game so far, behind Double Lift. In the early game. Licorice, though, large advantage right now for himself. This wave will push, but it's still not enough to equalize it completely. And you see what Gilius is kind of doing? He looked like he was just setting up wards. He backed and got himself the Tracker's Knife as his very first back. Some Elises will get a kill and they'll go for Moby Boots or something, but this was just a straight up Tracker's Knife to ward up the enemy jungle and make sure Reignover can't have the same influence he did last game.
Glass cone over the wall, very hard to gank onto a cannon. Doesn't look like they're going to use it just yet. A ward in the river was causing Licorice to play a little bit safer. 54 on his call to still be stacked up. Fox is pushing in the mid lane, 48 to 41 there. Like you were saying, we'll have to see if they can change things around for Lorlo. Maybe he said to Rainover, I'm fine here on the top side. I'm Nautilus.
Yeah.
I can behind CS.
Yeah, it's kind of a lane that you want to gank for your tank because he has a CS deficit and he's getting kind of smashed.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can in that situation. The bottom side, though, looks like...
yeah, pinged for wards.
Yeah, there's wards everywhere here that were just placed down. Matt, because of that early kill, gets a Sight Stone before there's one for Zazel, so he has superior wards. Top side, though, Licorice. Hook will come through. Gets a flash out.
Actually becomes very scary for a cannon. Now E becomes your literally only escape, so you use that in lane, you're almost dead to rights.
So he
focus on how much Rainover goes back.
Exactly, and so you can see he places a ward in his Tri-Brush, but that's still not enough coverage because he doesn't have control of the river at all, and that belongs to TL. So Licorice, I think he'll play a little bit more reserved now until he sees Rainover out on the map, which he just did because Rainover crossed mid, so he could probably push up now. And Lorlo, I think, has to back soon. Yeah, he's out of mana. He doesn't really have a way to CS under the turret perfectly well, so he's going to try to back before this wave crashes in, and then TP.
Just that part where your wave clear isn't amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, as Kennen, you're like, ugh, gotta get it.
And he should be fine. He gets a good bit of wave. And it should actually stay at a very good spot, though, for for Lorlo. So we see Gilius now over the wall of Baron Pit.
Spotted.
Yep, getting spotted out, so he's not going to be able to do too much damage here in the jungle. Team Liquid, however, may be able to work off something or just stay safe.
He's on a mission. Gilius was just like, I'm placing this ward down. I see that there's a ward in there, but I'm just going to run into their jungle. He places a ward down on the other side of their blue buff without stopping. His top laner isn't in top yet, and he's going to kind of chill.
There's double ping as well. Is Piglet coming back to rotate?
He's got Blast Cone, and there's also, actually just went over. He went over for the Blast Cone. And so Lorlo, Licorice not quite in range yet. He's going to try to get there, and he's going to run him to Rainover, and Rainover also has Piglet coming up.
Bet you didn't expect him to come out of his own jungle. Out of the woodwork as Rainover. Piglet has rotated back from the mid lane. Spirit rushes up as those laners are 7. And he should be able to pick up the kill. Orbit Deception through Gilia should be it. He actually gets it with the final auto. Double kill. Rainover burning down. Keeps alive as well as he chugs the potion on the way out.
Yep, and that's going to be more kills going over to TL. They pick up 2. They pick up Gilius and Licorice, and they get a lot for that. They don't have to blow many summoner spells themselves, but they get both from Fox and they get Gilius's.
Interesting play. Gilius not knowing the whole time he was on that left side of the map. He was basically hatching wards as he walked over them.
Well, they kind of knew that he was in there. They saw him go in. They didn't see him leave, and it's like, all right. So Lorlo face checks. They may have thought he was at the blue, but the reason that they got that is Piglet roamed to 2. Piglet was faster to the roam than Fox was, and he was able to push up.
Much more lane pressure here to eUnited's definitely and Zazel. We saw this actually in the first game going just as well for TL, but then definitely and Zazel didn't die for quite a long time and were actually taking down Doublelift and Matt in the resulting fights. Here, none of that's happening. Doublelift and Matt able to keep the pressure on the lane.
Yeah, this is really suspicious because it's like, oh, he's fighting me so hard. Graves is here as well, but this is a gigantic wave. Woo!
Great dodge, smokes him out, end of the line against the wall. That should be enough for the kill, just a reload and another auto attack. Very nicely done. Rainover getting that one in as he comes in. Just a little late, but good hit by Lorlo.
Rainover's been great this series. He's 100% KP again. Even the first game that they lost, it was still 0-0-0 for himself for a lot of the early game, but it wasn't really like Rainover giving over kill, dying, or anything like that. Now, the team has allowed him to kind of take over the game. 100% KP, and doing work on this top turret is Graves. They'll get this. There's no teleport for Licorice.
And you're going to have to question Licorice's aggression in that situation. When you see somebody fighting you like that, even if it is a Nautilus in a wave, you second guess something, and you're probably right to second guess it.
Yeah, players usually aren't bluffing that hard.
Yeah.
As a Nautilus.
Unless you're like, you throw a lantern behind you.
Yeah, but also there's like no reason.
About the only thing.
What does Licorice gain by staying?
Right.
Like if Lorlo's bluffing, then he can kill Lorlo. But Lorlo's actually losing minions and stuff like that because there's this gigantic minion wave next to him. People don't fight you when minion waves are there in the first place. So Licorice probably should have just ran away as fast as he could, much earlier than that.
quick hit onto Fox, easily Crimson rushed back.
Yeah, has himself the Negatron cloak as well.
Yeah, started off with it. Piglet hurts. See how this bot lane 114 to 92. You just saw Deflee's hawk shot. Just making sure that nobody is in that forward brush like Rainover or even Piglet. Looks like they're going to hold him off now. Definitely Zazel not looking too good. Obviously, Zazel going out to get some wards. I don't think that's going to go too far. Piglet has ult up, but he's saying, I'll take the advantage and then ult once I know it can be a kill.
Yeah, but Piglet has both summoner spells. Fox doesn't have his. There's a good charm earlier as well from Piglet in the lane right there because he hit Fox as he knew he was trying to go for the Crimson Rush. Duration lasts long enough that it actually wears off and you can't get that extra burst of lifesteal. And look at this combo.
That should be a very, very dead Matt. They
Or
actually
definitely
hold the wild growth. Both summoners come out.
Here
They
comes
pop
Gilius.
that one out. Ultimate's down for double lift here. They stop Gilius as they begin to retreat and reading the damage quite well. Team Liquid could still take a fight again in the bot.
Yeah, but that's a whole bunch of summoner spells blown there for TL, like
That's
you
very
said.
true.
All 4 of them down in that bottom lane. Rainover actually started coming over, and Gilius was like, my spider sense is tingling, and starts running away. Doesn't kill the control ward that's in the tri-brush, doesn't even do anything with that. And now they know where Rainover is. They see him place down the ward and start attacking this one. It is risky. I don't think you go for it. Your own jungle isn't safe right now.
Quick clear. Yeah, Piglet, he feels like he has the upper hand. Whenever you're playing that close to the side of a turret left and right, it just shows confidence, knowing you can either Spirit Rush out of pressure that comes from Gilius, or maybe even take down Fox if he tries to go for something funny. Ignites are up in that lane as well, so kill pressure rises just a little bit. Piglet has the wards to keep himself up in the face of Fox.
Has Ignite too.
There it is. Pool's gonna come out. Can he follow more? One last rush in. There's the Foxfire. He was waiting for it all along.
Yep. Fox ends up hurting himself a lot off his abilities, using the E to try and get a slow there. Doesn't have the flash available. Piglet does, so even if Fox got away there, it's still a great follow-up. This from Piglet. Beautifully played. The charm lands, and he waits for the Crimson Rush before he goes back in. So if he had gone in immediately, he would have had to ignite at the beginning of that so that there isn't this gigantic heal from the Vladimir.
Yeah.
So that's what he's playing around and waiting for. In the top lane, meanwhile, the Cull ends up using all the stacks, but I still think the gold a little bit in favor of Lorlo off of the kill and 2 assists for himself. So Licorice is trying to do what he can in this lane after losing his turret very early on.
Fox actually back to pick up a needlessly large rod for himself. Just not going to see that Abyssal Scepter come through anytime soon.
Oh, it might be the Ludens as his first item.
Yeah. Matt joining back down with double lift. He's
Maybe
actually been able to leave double lift quite a bit more this game. You see all the forward wards placed in here, stopping Gilius from getting the upper hand he created on Lee Sin out of that first game. Cannot do much with that Elise Cocoon as he is in vision all the time. Next Mountain Drake is being gathered around.
5-man mid coming up right now. They want this turret. It's already half HP. Keep talking about how well Fox is doing right now in CS, but Piglet keeps getting the damage on the turret, which converts into that turret take.
Opens up the map, perfect timing with 2 minutes to go on that Drake. They already have the control wards placed all around it. If they can protect them, they are good to go. And 5-0 here to start things off. Rainover again, close to 100% KP on this game. 4 of those 5 are because of him.
Yeah, he's doing massive amounts of work.
3 as well over to Piglet. So that assistance towards the mid lane.
Yeah, the only time that Rainover missed that kill was the one mid that happened solo. Look at this, Lorlo looking for Licorice, and he has Rainover coming around now. And that's enough lockup. Like I said, you want to gank for the tank.
Flash over the wall. Got it.
Not going to follow. Too risky to follow.
Paying off.
Yep, bottom lane though, they have to back off for double lift. And Matt, as they get pushed in, but also this is a push in onto Fox, so Piglet now sees the Elise behind him, but he has Rainover on the top left, so if Elise flanks this, he's actually in complete vision here, and may just get destroyed, so.
They're actually playing this quite confident. We have a little bit of a roam by Lorlo coming down as well. And eUnited almost getting a hit. Fox was looking to Engage off of Deathly's arrow.
Yeah, they didn't know there was a control ward inside that bush right there below Fox, and so they see that arrow the whole time that's flying over. Gotta say, the vision control from TL this whole series, you can see there's a big difference between NALCS and CS teams in terms of their vision. Even when they're ahead, you saw that eUnited really didn't have as much control as TL. There's this ward that's on the back of the top side red buff too that will probably stay there for a good while. We'll see if Gilius checks it. It's probably going to be up for, we'll count it. We'll see when it gets picked up. Say it was about 15 minutes when it went down.
Those are the best. All game ward. All game.
All game long. It could be there for a very long time too.
Pings down towards the bot side. Not like much going to actually happen off of that. They're just making sure things are set up. Bot lane has left. Double lift should be able to help take down this turret with Matt.
Yep, making sure that they have complete control of the Mountain Drake for when it spawns. And we'll see, eUnited have not been getting those early skirmishes that they've been playing towards or wanting. They want to get catches, but they're just going to lose bottom turret for this. There's a control ward that they have to show themselves on.
There's a bit of hesitation.
There's a TP. They're fighting.
There was hesitation for TL to go for that ward. Rainover's damage absolutely dropping Zazel. Remember, he was the one in the fight that's providing the grasping roots and the Stranglethorns that have been winning.
He didn't even get to react. No exhaust, no flash away. They're going to get picked up here, too. Here comes Rainover flashing for more damage.
Looks like Rainover and Piglet working that buddy system this game. They were just up by eUnited's Raptor. Now they're hugging the bot lane together with Double Lift and TL, or I should say Matt, as they drop the turret. And TL does decide what they want to do there. It was kind of a dragon, then push to the turret.
But
look out on top still.
Look at all the control wards that TL have on the bottom side of the map. They have 4 control wards in that area. There's no way you're getting in there without getting spotted. And then immediately, Rainover from the bush, very fed on this Graves. Great CS, and look at this top lane, not going Licorice's way anymore.
No, that becomes a very difficult game. That's Rainover's.
Yeah, I don't think Rainover has mana to actually get out of the pit.
Yeah, Chemo Plague will take him. Oh no, he gets saved. He might be able to pick up another kill. Dredge line to come in from Lorlo.
Did it happen top? Nope.
Calling for assistance. He's like, help me. The ping goes down. He is safe as he gets himself away. Very scattered here for eUnited as they try to pick up kills. They're being fought against on the other side of the map, so even if Licorice wanted to help, he can't. TP's down and also just continues to have Lorlo in his face. It's becoming interesting what Licorice may be able to even do as he gets into these fights with the way the game is going.
Yeah, he needs that Runeance Hurricane, that second item for himself, so he can start getting that on-hit damage from the Blade of the Rune King on multiple people, increases his wave clear, and does, honestly, a lot more damage for this cannon, as that attack speed helps out so much.
It seems it took a few games. We still have quite a few to go if eUnited can turn things around here. But Liquid is showing that prowess. The reason why a lot of these players are in the LCS is because they can control these kind of skirmish situations, continue to push forward even with a loss of members. And now again, already 19 minutes in on the second tier turrets of eUnited and ready to keep pressuring as they steal resources out of the jungle. All the little things that Liquid will continue to do just puts eUnited farther and farther behind.
Yep. And Liquid now have control of the top side of the map. And this is pretty blank for them. They have to use the spider to check. But you could say control ward's in there. TL definitely ready to start.
Wild Growth is there. He's holding it.
Fox on the side.
Flash over to Matt. He gets instantly deleted. Is that the aggression that eUnited wants for a full fight? No, as Licorice goes down.
Yeah. Licorice goes down on the bottom side of mid after Piglet roamed that way and also had Lorlo there as well. Blew the ultimate to do so. But yeah, Piglet having a really good game for himself. You can see 2 levels up over Fox, who will hit 13 pretty soon. And still just dominating on Sorry right now. Rainover helped a whole bunch, but these 4 kills on Piglet, exactly where you want them.
After this blue buff, I wouldn't be surprised if he went hard on Fox mid with summoners down. We'll see how this fight went. He's just saying, hey, you want to get to the top fight? I'll stop you, but I don't think he expected a Piglet.
No, was not expecting Piglet to roam down. Was expecting Piglet to go help that gigantic cluster of the rest of TL, and that maybe he could get a flank in, but they don't have ward coverage in middle to see that happening, and that Piglet actually decided to go for the kill. with Lorlo.
Blue buff is his. He's actually stepping up on Fox right now. Pushes him off the lane. You can see in the mini map. And Piglet himself playing safe. They don't even have wards over to that side of Gilius, but he says, this is a sixth sense. I'm feeling it. Somebody's next to me. And the rest of the team is a cavalry right around him to help if anything happens.
Yep. You can see Zeyzal, Deftly, and Gilius, the pick of this team, all hanging out in this bush. But TL kind of only have to use this part of the map for rotations when they feel like their turrets are threatened, and as soon as Doublelift pushes up the top wave, that's exactly what happens. Now they get to go back in. And it's kind of the systematic way that you establish vision is pressure and then vision, so bring enough people to pressure, and then go get vision afterwards. Some people will try to pressure by themselves and then get vision, but that's where you die. That's where you get outnumbered. Speaking of pressuring and not getting vision after.
Pool's going to be there. He tries to go through the entire team to get to the rest of them. Doublelift locked up so the culling can't continue in distance. He just keeps firing off. And quick dodge as the Glitter Lance goes back. Bot lane still going back and forth. No TPs to come from these two, but TL is backing off, and this may be eUnited's pressure to finally drop this outer turret and then have their own right to go through TL's jungle.
Yeah, pings onto Baron here.
Yeah.
There's a ward on it, a control ward, so they have to clear this one out. eUnited will be spotted as they do this. And they're actually going to go for it. They started it up in vision because they said that Piglet and Doublelift are back. They're going to try to blow this up. There's the TP on the top side. And they're going to collapse onto Lorlo.
Lorlo TP's in just above them. A three-man knockoff with the Dredger, anchor toss and dredge line. Zeyzal's low, gets a hit from Rainover, goes down. Both of them fall. Gilius and now Fox in the eyes of Team Liquid as he drops. eUnited trying to force Team Liquid's hand to pull them around. And they did. I don't know if they want this fight, but they had to take it. And now it's Deftly that goes down as well. Another kill as Piglet is 6-0.
Yeah, Licorice couldn't really keep tabs on Lorlo there. He was back behind the turret and went for the teleport. You would expect the Kennen to be able to continue the aggression and maybe even interrupt it by diving the turret, but he didn't have that type of pressure on Lorlo. Lorlo gets the teleport in. Licorice does not get to match, and he gets 2 turrets for the Baron and all those kills. Not really worth. Oh, I like this from Piglet too. A Lich Bane coming through. But yeah.
And it feels good, right? Okay, it's a scattered fight.
Yeah. I don't know if they actually see Lorlo coming through there on the teleport because of the range. And then right there, the flash to the other side from Gilius makes it so that Zeyzal and Fox also get knocked up. They pick up Rainover, but then just Doublelift is doing a lot of damage here. Piglet as well, and they can't get through Lorlo. And as soon as Lorlo gets to about 1/4 of his HP, that's where he backs up. That's where he backs off. But if Lorlo's not allowed to get into that fight, it's completely different.
And that's going to be just about 27.5 minutes, around 28 before you even see Deftly's flash. Maybe a little sooner from the replay. But they have a lot of time to work that. With a Nautilus and Ahri, you don't want to not have your flash up as an AD carry right now. Things are only going to get harder for eUnited. 2.5 minutes left on that Baron buff. There's going to be the breadcrumb wards placed by Team Liquid on the way out to keep their vision. You can see him clearing as well.
Yeah, it was an interesting attempt at a rush from eUnited. They had a Mountain Drake, but they really didn't have the damage yet to do the Baron that quickly. And you see them pull off, but whoever made that call is a very bold one, and it's one that really just cracks the game open for TL as they make the right call to counter and teleport onto it without having the TP interrupted.
Top wave waiting for Team Liquid right now. They don't have to do anything too crazy in this siege. Collateral damage coming out from Rainover to just pepper a little bit of damage over to eUnited. Lorlo just basically getting tickled by the damage here. Another arrow crossing the team.
Licorice knocked up.
That's going to be Licorice going down first. Gilius very low as well as Zeyzal on the backside. They drop Gilius immediately after he hits the ground. Fox is going to be the next to fall, and TL is inside the base with almost an ace. Zeyzal walks to the fountain.
Yeah, that might be it right there. We could see death timers aren't that long, but it might be long enough here. Everybody's still up for TL. Zeyzal doesn't have damage either. He went for a defensive build because they didn't slaughter the early game. So no Leandri's on him, and you can see no wave clear. TL's going to take game 3.
Another sub 30-minute game from Team Liquid, who turned the afterburners off after a game 1 loss. We're going to a game 3. Game point, Team Liquid. Game 4.
Yeah.
This was 3.
Looking for match point there and lead 2-1. It is a best of 5. They still have to win one more.
Yep.
Whereas eUnited, they had a good start. It was a long game 1, but games 2 and 3 been about the same duration as that first game in terms of combined game time.
Very true. A lot of pressure as well. 11 out of the 16 to reign over this time, keeping that kill participation up. 6-0-4 for Piglet as he crushes another game coming into the mid lane. And from the Ahri that looked a little shaky game 1 to a great Ahri game, great Ahri game now here in 2 and 3.
Yeah, and so we're seeing that the champion pools of the Liquid members, you can't really target them too heavily in champion select. And so this might actually prompt, because eUnited has side selection, to go blue side this time. Counterpick hasn't been meaning as much in the mid lane. Piglet is winning pretty much regardless of what's going on. You're never going to get Lulu for yourself.
Right.
And so I think that this is something where if you swap to the other side, maybe you get a Rumble, maybe you get Shen, maybe you get Lulu. You might get something that you're really happy with as that first pick that you're not getting right now, especially since you're being forced onto things like the AD Kennen and no tank compositions for eUnited.
I really liked the way that Jhin played for deftly. It wasn't the biggest in the laning phase. Their laning phase hasn't been that great, but they were able to survive on it. And the Ashe arrows weren't connecting. TL's too ready. But if you have that curtain call to slow down the fight, consider that engage if you do get a pick, instead of saying, we got to pick, we got a cocoon, we have to go. It seems like that's favoring TL in the split-second instant fights.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is vision control. As soon as Reignover gets a lead, the vision control gets established across the board. Matt got a first blood, so he got Sightstone, and then there's really no way in for Gilius to get in on that bottom lane, which has 2 CC spells, where he doesn't really want to gank any other lane, right? You're not going to gank this Nautilus with the cannon. Ganking for Vladimir is awful. He has no CC, so he really wants to gank bottom. First blood goes over. Lulu has Sightstone, can't get it through all past all the wards. Oh well. And now Reignover takes over the game.
All right, so now for an in-depth look at that Liquid win, let's send it over to our analysts.
Thank you very much, Riv. Liquid picking up another one, bringing it to 2-1 in the series. So definitely turning things around from that lengthy game 1 loss that they had.
I mean, these are the games that you expect to see out of Liquid. This is the number 9 LCS team. Literally, a week ago, they beat TSM. Like, this team should have had no problem stomping through the promotion tournament, especially against number 2 challenger team, eUnited. This should have been a thing that they were able to win. And game 2 and 3 looked like it was supposed to. If you forget game 1 even happened, you're like, yeah, of course.
And you know who looked so much better, who was the main catalyst for that? Reignover.
Yes.
Large difference between game 1 performance to games 2 and 3. Getting stuff done early here.
Yeah, put away your umbrellas. Reignover here in this one. Actually, really cute. He predicts the flash with the smoke grenade as well. And as the Cats were talking about, right, the first one going onto the support, giving the early Sightstone, and it's just he's always around. You can see at the bottom, I want to point out the fact that he's winning in minion kills no matter what, but the difference is what he was actually doing afterwards, because he had failed ganks in game 1, he had great ganks, this is you see in game 3, I believe, right here, and you can see his kill participation at 20, right? In the first game, they had basically no kills, he was 50%, and then here in 2 and 3, he's basically doing all the heavy lifting, making it all happen, and this is really important that he's making this all just go well.
So the point is, he's still able to create large CS advantages, but within games 2 and 3, also creating action around the map to the lanes, getting kills, assists, making things happen for more than just himself.
Right, because a lot of it is Gilius is ganking like a madman, and he's just attacking everyone all the time, and when he's ganking like that, it means that Reignover can take his jungle away, which is why the CSD is what it is. But the reason that his team's not dying all the time is because he said, guys, he's gonna gank like a madman, chill the hell out. Like Nautilus versus Kennen. If you get a gank, Kennen just dies. He's squishy, but just don't give him the slicing Maelstrom kill, and it's fine. Shout out to Cubes right here, my buddy. Coach, by the way, if you don't know, Fnatic Academy, who are in the promo tournament for the European LCS just now from the Challenger Series, talks about how you should be playing the jungle role and that farming it out.
I mean, at one point he was a coach in the NALCS.
He was.
Qualified complexity into the NALCS, and yeah, as mentioned here, that these is a distinct 2 styles of jungling. One, you'll find much more success in lower elo play, and solo queue, which is the gank over and over again because teams are less likely to respond in kind. Here on the LCS stage, though, when ganks aren't rewarded with kills, oh my goodness, you fall far behind someone who's pathing correctly like Reignover. And that's the thing. Reignover's strongest aspect as a player is his pathing and decision-making.
Super smart player, like very often is the right place at the right time. Yeah, he ganks much less, and sometimes there are openings that he gives up by ganking at the wrong times. He's not literally the perfect jungler of all time, but he's good. His strengths lines up very well, and when his team plays around that, it works a lot better.
So should Gilius stop ganking, right? Game 4, what does Gilius do to get this, back into his favor?
I think he has to be more refined about it, right? It's like you find the matchups that are supposed to work for your gank path, and you keep your jungle clear otherwise. Like the Elise is good, she's half and half, where it's like you can hard farm, you have the decent AoE, but you also have really good gank pressure.
Right.
But you've got to find like the one lane that you return to, but otherwise keep your farm up time going, right? Like you can't look at all 3 lanes at the same time, find the winning lane, draft for, 1 to 2 winning lanes, but pick one of them that you really try to camp for.
Right.
And keep your jungle cleared otherwise. Keep up farm-wise, because being down 2 levels, I don't care how many ganks you got, the Graves is going to be more powerful than you are, and it's not going to work.
Now, in the meantime, Double is still smashing the bot lane in terms of CS, and we saw Reignover now putting more attention towards the bot lane, whereas Gilius has thrown a lot of attention to the top lane. If not changing maybe the style, the aggressive ganking style, should he maybe focus now bot lane, keep his bot lane more in it?
It's so hard. Like, I mean, it feels like you're running out of options because, again, Liquid are a better team. You have freaking Double Lift. Like, there's not a lot of options here at this level of play.
For a second, I thought you said Freak and Double Lift.
Oh,
And I
yeah,
was like,
best bot lane of all time after your days
I
of
never
numbers.
want to see that ever in my life. Sorry to derail you. Go ahead
No,
and
of
close
course.
your point.
But it's difficult. I don't think you can gank the losing lane. I think maybe you can play a super hard push lane, like you play Karma and, Caitlyn or something like that, and you say, okay, we can go for the hard push into tower dives. Maybe that can work out for you a little bit. Lulu has a hard time fighting back when she's getting pushed in. But I think you can maybe either make top lane be squishy, ban 3 tanks away from Lorlo, or you find a way to play dynamic mid lane where you gank a pre-6 Ahri, something like that. I don't know. Again, ganking bot's going to be really hard with players like Double Lift.
Exactly. Match point for Team Liquid. eUnited looking for another victory to push us to Game 5. They're choosing red side here to do it. We're going to step away, but don't touch that browser, because when we return, it's Game 4 between Team Liquid and eUnited.
I'm slowing them.
Yeah, Vlad's looking to fight.
We can fight after tower. We can fight after tower. We can.
I blocked
Go
it.
cannon.
One cannon.
Go Vlad next.
Vlad.
He pulls out. Vlad.
One Vlad. That's it.
Nice. And.
Yeah, it's in there.
Good job, guys.